First medicine in this group is Helonias. Very, very interesting medicine, which we don't use so much often, but it's a very useful medicine in fact. Although a small medicine, but it's a very useful medicine. It's prepared from unicorn root. I want you to go to the theme and essence for Helonias, please. To understand Helonias, you have to understand how the sequence of symptoms develop, how this chain of symptoms develop for Helonias, for this medicine. Think of a woman, say she is in her mid-30s, okay, early 30s or mid-30s. And when she is in the mid-30s, she has a good husband, but she doesn't have any children, right? Why she doesn't have any children? Because in the past, there is a past history of recurrent miscarriages, or a past history of induced abortions. It could be spontaneous abortions, it could be induced abortions. So in the past she had a lot of abortions, could be spontaneous, could be induced, right? Unfortunately, she doesn't have any children at the moment. Now as a consequence of this, what happens for Helonias? She's exhausted, she's drained out physically. Absolutely exhausted. You see a man here, worn out, languor, prostration. So in a general plane, it affects Helonias in terms of a lot of weakness. You understand? A lot of exhaustion, worn out. In the emotional plane, how it affects Helonias? She doesn't like to stay at home. She always wants company. She needs people. She even pick up the phone and talk to someone else because husband has gone out for work. She doesn't have any job. She's at home and she doesn't like it. If she gets a job, if she goes outside even for shopping, she feels much better emotionally. You understand what I mean? So emotionally, how it affects her? Like a depression. How it feels better? By talking to people, by having some company. You're with me? But unfortunately, whenever she goes out for shopping or whenever she goes out for work, she's exhausted. And what happens? As a result of this exhaustion, it affects the muscles of her body. And her muscles feel ached, her muscles feel burnt. Like a burning sensation in the muscles, like a fibromyalgia. You're with me? So you see, the physical and emotional contradict. Emotionally, she wants to be happy, she wants to be with people, she wants company, she wants to talk. But whenever she goes out, whenever she is in the midst of people, unfortunately her physically the weakness gives out. And how it affects her? She has a generalized fibromyalgia. You're with me? And the muscles, the sensation your Helonias will tell you, like a burning sensation in the muscles. You're with me? And thirdly, how it affects her physically? She could have a history of uterine prolapse, or prolapse has just started. If you see, I mentioned here prolapse. So you're with me? A woman who unfortunately doesn't have the pleasure of having children. She is childless, with a lot of depression, with a past history of lots of miscarriage, lots of abortion. It is also one of your leading medicine for NBWS miscarriages. Patient has never been well since a miscarriage, never been well since recurrent abortions. You're with me? And what is the reaction? Number one, what you got? You got emotionally, a lot of very depressed. You're with me? Emotionally very depressed. Better by company, better with people. Better when going outdoors. You with me? Number 2, worn out, exhausted. Right? Worn out, exhausted. Number 3, fibromyalgia with a what sensation? Burning sensation. Fibromyalgia with a burning sensation in the muscles. Number 4, she can get a backache. That's also quite important for your Helonias, backache. And number 5, uterine prolapse. Uterine prolapse. You're with me? It's a very useful medicine, wonderful medicine. Even you can prescribe as an acute for women depression. You know, like a woman with a lot of, the avenues, either you can give it to a woman who has had a history of recurrent miscarriages, recurrent abortions, and now very depressed. You can give Helonias in tincture, even 6C, 30C, as an acute to overcome the depression. You understand what I mean?
Acute depression?
Acute depression. Especially if the depression patient tells you that I'm better with people, I'm better in company, I'm better when going outdoors. That kind of depression. Even on the basis of that symptom, you can prescribe Helonias as an acute for depression.
Only for female?
Mostly. I'll say the background is mostly for a woman. You're with me? I'll come with a lot of comparisons with different medicines. I'll come in a moment. B, so that is one avenue where you can prescribe either for acute depression. Secondly, I shared with you NBWS abortion, NBWS miscarriage, one of the leading medicine for that, Helonias. Patient has never been well since a miscarriage. Patient has never been well since abortion. It could be depression, could be prolapse, could be backache. Any complaints have started during and after the event. Right? So this is the background of Helonias. Now have a look in the theme in a sense. Easily fatigued. I shared that with you. A lot of weakness, worn out. Tired, backache. That's also very important. So the patient are weak with a lot of backache. Tendency to prolapse. I shared that with you. Strained muscles, burn and ache. That's also quite interesting for Helonias. I've given Helonias even after Rustox has failed. Why Rustox has failed? You have a festival, you went out for shopping, Christmas shopping, and you worked a lot, right? You enjoyed it, emotionally you enjoyed it, but physically you're weak, you get exhausted. And how it affects you? Your muscles start burning. You started the case with Rustox. Why Rustox? Exertion resulting in like a fibromyalgia, right? With aggravation, first motion, better continued motion, Rustox. But Rustox helped but didn't finish the case. And now the patient is telling you a lot of burning in my muscles. Go to Helonias. You're with me? So, strained muscles, burn and ache, that's important. Have a look here. Profound melancholia, extreme depression, dull, inactive, gloomy, depressed. So, all kinds of emotional depression you'll have in Helonias as well. Okay? So that's a personality type. Now have a look in Mrs. Helonias. Prolapse, I shared that with you. Debility around menopause. So a lot of weakness, like you can also give it for menopausal depression. A lot of weakness at menopause with a lot of insomnia, a prolapse, and the background, you understand what I gave you. Debility around menopause. This is also a very important symptom for Helonias. Have a look. Conscious of womb. What do you mean by that? Conscious of womb. She feels she's conscious of her uterus. She feels whenever she's menstruating, whenever she's having any discharge, she feels the existence of the uterus. That's like an uncommon symptom. Not many Helonias patients will tell you that, but still remember that as an uncommon PQRS of Helonias. Conscious of the uterus. You with me? Now, which medicines comes close? So what I gave you, accompany C. So what you got? Depression, right? I'm just putting the points I told you. Better by engagement, right? Engaged. I gave you weakness, I gave you backache, I gave you prolapse, I gave you insomnia. Anything else I missed out? 3, 4, 5. Burning. Fibromyalgia, yeah. Fibromyalgia. So, in fibromyalgia there is burning. You're correct. CPI is a very good medicine which comes close to Helonias. It's like analogous to Helonias. What is the difference with CPI then?
CPI decided to alone.
Exactly. CPI will be more irritable, shouting, and they do not like company. They do not like people. They will more be like alone. All the features CPI can have. Prolapse, backache, all CPI, all pains travel to the back.
Yes.
Prolapse will have in CPI, backache you will have in CPI, weakness you will have in CPI. But you won't have the better by being engaged in CPI. That's important. So many times you have started a case with CPI. Patient has improved to a certain extent, but you're not finding the CPI symptoms is gone. Patient is now feeling better with people, now communicating with people, communicating with family. But the weakness is still there. But the prolapse is still there. What to follow up with? Try Helonias. You understand what I mean? Right? Another medicine which can follow up, which comes close? Calicarb.
Oh, Calicarb.
Why Calicarb? What is the triad of Calicarb?
Weakness, backache,
And
weakness, backache, and
sweat.
sweat.
Sweat, backache, and weakness is the triad for Calicarb. And
no sweat.
no sweat, but here you have the backache, you have the weakness. Calicarb wants company. Calicarb is also better with company. Calicarb also wants people. Right? So these features match which Calicarb. You're with me? And also I want you to have a look in your Borike for Calicarb. In the introduction it mentions one of the best remedies following labor pains. So it also covers the bad effects after delivery as well in Calicarb as well. Have a look in Borike, Calicarb. Introduction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th line. One of the best remedies following labor. And have a look at the same line. Miscarriage for consequent debilitated states. Did you got that? One of the best remedies following labor and also miscarriage for the consequent debilitated states. So after miscarriage, patient getting weakness like Helonias. Are you with me? Calicarb also has that. Everyone got that? So either it could be bad effects after a normal labor, or it could be even after miscarriage, patient getting weakness, patient getting backache. So many times you can start a case with Calicarb, you can go to Helonias, so start with Helonias, go to Calicarb. They follow each other really well. I know what I do wherever I have notes of a Calicarb, wherever I have notes of CPI, I put Helonias there. Because these are satellite medicines. And you'll not remember Helonias otherwise. You remember that is a very close medicine to CPI. It's a close medicine to Calicarb. So whenever you have failures with those medicines, you can try Helonias. So maybe in your Boric, maybe whenever you have possible, write Helonias as maybe an intercurrent, maybe as a follow-up to Calicarb or CPI. You got that? Calicarb, I will say, comes very, very close to Helonias rather than CPI. Because it covers the emotional aspect, it covers the causation, it covers the weakness and the backache as well. You follow what I mean? It covers emotional depression better by Calicarb more wants people. You understand the difference between Calicarb and Helonias is Calicarb more wants people as a company. But Helonias, it could be people or it could be just being engaged with some work. You know, maybe they're gardening, maybe they are gone out for a drive, engaged with something else. Anything else attracts their attention, they feel better. Calicarb you can prescribe for anyone, male or female, isn't it? Helonias is more for females. Also, Helonias has got the burning. That's important. Calicarb doesn't have. Helonias is burning. Helonias is fibromyalgia will be worse when exertion. You with me? Calicarb is better from exertion. Aggravation, rest, better by motion. Calicarb. You remember Calicarb? Although they are weak, but Calicarb is aggravation, rest, better by motion. Reverse O'Brienia. But here, whenever they work, whenever they are exerting themselves, they feel worn out. They feel burning in the muscles. They feel more exhausted. You understand? So that is one of the key differences in the modality. So if you get the sweat, backache and weakness with pains which are better by motion, aggravation by rest, I'll go for Calicarb. Right? Sweat, backache, weakness. So think of Calicarb. Sweat, backache, weak, pains, aggravation, rest, better by motion. Right? Aggravation, rest, better by motion. That is more important for Calicarb. And in the background, you know, Cali's, if you remember, I shared that with you. Strong sense of duty, strong sense of morals, strong sense of traditions, that you'll find with Calicarb. Very moralistic, very traditional, very dutiful, routinistic. That you'll find with Calicarb. Those traits you'll never find with a Helonias. You understand what I mean? So when I have a lot of perspiration, patient has got a backache, patient is very weak and exhausted, and the backache or any other pain is worse when they are at rest, better when they're moving. That's your Calicarb. In the background, strong routinistic, strong sense of duty, strong sense of morals. Okay? Whereas in case of Helonias, exhausted physically, but whenever they engage, they feel much better. But unfortunately, when they are shopping, when they are working, they are worn out and the muscles feel burnt. Alright? You see, it's a small medicine, but very good avenues of prescription. Right? Now have a look for Helonias in your Borike. Helonias. The introduction. Very, very good introduction in Borike. Sensation of weakness, dragging and weight in the sacrum and pelvis. You got that? So like a heaviness in the sacrum, Borike. Sensation of weakness, dragging and weight in the sacrum and pelvis. With great languor and prostration. Languor is weakness, another word just for weakness. Languor and prostration are excellent indications of this remedy. So you got the weakness, you got the backache, and generalized prostration. There is a sensitiveness expressed as a consciousness of a womb. I shared that with you. They feel they're conscious of the uterus. Tired, backachy females, very important word. They're tired, backache, and generally a female. The weakness shows itself also in a tendency to prolapse and other malposition of the womb. So there is also a tendency to prolapse.
That is dryness.
Pardon?
Are you treating backache dryness then?
Backache?
You say treating
No, just this one.
backache and dryness.
Backache and weakness. Yeah.
Okay.
The weakness also shows itself in a tendency to prolapse and other malposition of the womb.
Kidney congested explain what does it mean?
Menses are often suppressed and the kidneys congested. They feel like a congested heaviness feeling in the renal region. With it all, there is a profound melancholia. You got that? A lot of depression. And this is very, very important. Patient must be doing something to engage the mind. So either, you have to understand this. It is not only communication with people, it could be being engaged with some work as well. Remember it, for women with prolapses from atony, innervated by indolence and luxury. What do you mean by that? Woman with prolapses from atony. Atony means lack of tonicity. And what do you mean by this? Innervated by indolence and luxury. So weakness is more because they have been staying at home for a long time. They are not doing much physical work. So that is more aggravated by that.